Hi, welcome to Strictly Sports, your weekly destination for your true sports content.
My name is Boyce.
I'm Spencer, and we like to talk about sports with you guys, keep politics out of it, because that's really all sports has become, unfortunately. So
let's get into it.
Ready to talk about some Super Bowl action?
Yeah,
should be exciting.
Favorite holiday of the year. So
it's a good day. Super Bowl Sunday is my favorite day.
Yeah, it's a rough time to see New England back, but it's kind of numb at this point.
Yeah, I don't know I feel like as long as Belichick is there, they're just never going to stop him.
No, it's
unless the AFC gets stronger.
Yeah, I've been looking. Offseason's already started with that blockbuster trade between the Chiefs and Redskins.
We'll get into that later, boys.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Don't get ahead of yourself here.
But man, you know what? It's looking like a great Super Bowl, and hopefully the end of the era for the Patriots.
I hope so.
I know.
It would be nice for the Eagles to get redemption.
Yeah, it would be.
They lost to the Patriots previously, and that was probably the best team they've had in a while with Donovan McNabb. But
yeah,
I remember their dream team that they thought they had. What year was that? 2011?
Oh, that was, I believe, 2011 with
it was
Mike Vick back in the day. Yeah,
Mike Vick, Nnamdi Asomugha, Asante Samuel, Deshaun Jackson. They had LaShawn McCoy, right?
Yeah,
that was a talented team.
That was a talented team, and man, now here they are with Nick Foles instead, the quarterback, and. Sure, nobody saw this coming out. I think a lot of people predicted the Eagles would be really good, but
with Wentz, I thought they could win the Super Bowl. With Wentz, with Foles, I was questionable about how far they could go.
Yeah, there's a lot of me that had a lot of doubts. I thought they could go one and done just right away. Just straight off the bat, just lose. There's a bunch of tweets and stuff. I mean, obviously they got the #1 seed, so the road to the Super Bowl for the NFC went through Philly and
then back to Minnesota.
I was thinking it would go through Philly, then back to Minnesota, and then stay in Minnesota for the Super Bowl, but. Man, that was crazy. The defense for for the Eagles, they kept it real close, and they kept a lot of close games, and they won every one. And I saw a stat. And then when Nick Foles, was presented the opportunity to show himself against an #1 defense,
he's not a bad quarterback.
He's not
starter. I think he's a capable starter in the NFL. Ever since I saw him in his first stint in Philadelphia, he was pretty good. So I think if he finds the right place, he could be really good.
He. Man,
and he's shown that.
Back when he was with Philly, he was still doing good. I mean, he had some amazing games and great season stats, and it was incredible. Yeah, his 7 touchdown game, and now look here he is. I mean, everybody was worried about him because, they brought him out, and I was not too worried about the Eagles because of what Nick Foles did in Philly in the past. But
I didn't know how they'd be in the playoffs.
Exactly,
in the playoffs you need a good quarterback to win it.
Yeah, postseason's a whole other beast, and their defense picked up the slack, and then. Come Minnesota, their defense and their offense just kick butt. So Minnesota was sent home with
they didn't get sent home. They got thrown home.
Yeah, they did. They got kicked home. It was bad. It was. I did not see that coming at all.
I thought it'd be close.
I thought if they won, I thought the Eagles were going to win. It'd be close. It'd be low scoring because neither offense was too spectacular. Both defenses are very good, and instead it was Minnesota's ended up giving up 30 points and. Eagles did give up 7, so.
In the Super Bowl, I think the big thing for Philadelphia's offense is going to come down to whether or not they can keep the Patriots' pass rush back, because they showed that they had a pretty good pass rush against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Jacksonville had a mobile quarterback.
And they had a solid offensive line too.
Yeah, you would think that'd be the ball on the ground where pass rush is irrelevant. That'd be a tough team to rush against because Blake Bortles he can run.
Yeah, whatever it was it the. Pittsburgh game where he had more rushing yards than he had. No, it was the Bills game, wasn't it?
Yeah,
they played the Bills. Yeah, the first playoff game against the Bills, he had 96 rushing yards and
50 passing yards.
Yeah, passing yards, and they won. They walked away with the W. So whatever works. I guess it was a win. So
in the Super Bowl though, it's tough. For a team that's coached by Bill Belichick, it's tough to
imagine why they lose.
Yeah, it's tough when Belichick has 2 weeks to prepare for a team. And then you give him the extended halftime as well. It's tough to beat him because he'll have a game plan and then he'll have even longer at halftime to make his adjustments that he needs to make. We definitely saw that against Atlanta last year when their game plan looked terrible in the first half.
Yeah, 28-3 and
somehow Bill Belichick. He said, "Tom, you're going to lead us to the promised land." And Tom was like, "All right."
Yeah. So it was Colin Cowherd put a statement out after the Jags versus Patriots game. In the postseason, he said athletes get tired, but systems don't. And
systems.
That's exactly what they have built. They have the most almost a flawless system in New England.
The only thing that can beat that system is Eli Manning.
Yeah, and like if you're gonna take a roster, you're probably gonna pick majority of the time the Jacksonville roster. Let's be real. I mean, other than the quarterback position, and the tight end position, what spot are they really like lacking in compared to?
I mean, they had some injuries at wide receiver this year, but
yeah,
they still showed
Brandon Cooks. Okay, yeah, and but Allen Robinson. So I mean, yeah, I'll cancel that one out. But
I mean, if I pick a
look
roster,
at the defense. Obviously, you're taking the Jacksonville defense, that best pass rush in the league, 2 lockdown corners, both of them top 5. And yeah, that linebacker core, amazing. So it's incredible what they can do. I mean, they adapt to anything and everything. When you give Bill Belichick 2 weeks plus, like you said, an extended halftime, it's how does he lose? I mean, the one thing he's ever lost against was Tom Coughlin and the Giants. Yeah,
let's not forget that.
It was twice. Eli Manning is Tom Brady's father, but yeah, I mean, the one common denominator that causes these losses in postseason for the Patriots, especially that close to Super Bowl or in the Super Bowl, is Tom Coughlin, and now his Jags are done. So because of just poor fourth quarter clock management. So
like I honestly think that, like I've noticed in the Super Bowls, it's always like a slow start will never kill you in the Super Bowl unless you go down like 35-0. Like the halftime is so long that it really messes with players. I think.
Yeah,
like
it really does.
Players like get a little cold. Like it's longer than what it's like twice as long as what they're used to.
Yeah, with that halftime show and
it's so much longer than what they're used to.
All the money and just news they got to get out of it. It's a business still nonetheless. So.
Yeah. So I mean, they're never going to stop doing the halftime show.
Never.
If anything, they're going to get longer.
Yeah, exactly. If anything, it's going to get longer.
I don't know. Maybe Belichick has it down to a science where he says we're going to just keep it close at half and then use that as a time for the players to warm up a little bit and then really go out and start playing it in the second half. Maybe that's his key. I don't know, but in this Super Bowl, I mean, I don't want to have to pick the Patriots to win. If I was a betting man and I was betting on the game, I would most definitely bet on the Patriots. But as a fan, I'm probably going to pick the Eagles. I think it's a special.
As a fan, I'd love for the underdogs to win, but the real question is not who's going to win the Super Bowl. It's if the Eagles win, how much grease does Philly have to cover their poll?
They said they're not going to do it. They said that.
I mean, it didn't work last time, so why waste all the money?
I saw an interview like the police chief said there's nothing we can do to stop them.
No, I mean it's the city of brotherly love and pole climbing. So
I think if something like that happens, they're just gonna let the city riot.
Yeah,
for the most part, just let it.
It'll be a happy riot.
Yeah,
I mean it'll be a happy riot. Yeah,
we thought it'd be a happy riot.
Dumb stuff will happen, but it'll be a good riot.
In LA a few years ago when the Lakers won the championship, then they set cop cars on fire and stuff.
Yeah, that wasn't a good riot.
It's LA too.
But yeah, it's LA. It's not Philly. So yeah, I can't pick against Belichick in that. I mean, he's just been given too much time to win.
But sometimes like you have to notice sometimes for teams it's just a special year. Like I remember as an Ohio State fan in 2014, nobody thought we would win the championship once our third string quarterback came in, Cardale Jones. But it was a special year. It was just our year that year. And so this year I'm kind of thinking it might be Philly. I'm gonna guess that it's Philly's year. It looks like it's Philly's year. They haven't slowed down all season, and I just think it's their time to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and there's they certainly have what it takes. I mean, Foles is capable. That offense is capable. Alshon Jeffrey has balled out the entire postseason. I mean, he's caught every ball that's been thrown his way. Number 1 defense in the league didn't even phase that offense, which is surprising. I mean, everybody's surprised. Granted, neither team has home field advantage, but I think playing indoors. I mean, both teams are outdoor stadiums, so it's not going to or help one team or the other.
Yeah, it's very neutral. It's a
very neutral playing ground for both teams. So it's.
I'd love to see Super Bowl at Lambeau Field. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be that'd be a great stadium to have it. But you know what? I mean, they have what it takes. That defensive line, that pass rush they've got going on. I mean, we know the key to stop Brady, and it's not that big of a key, but the Super Bowls that he's lost have been by the Giants with that pass rush up the middle. I mean, you can send it around the edge, but then if he steps in the pocket, he sends lasers downfield. So
literally, the only way to beat the Patriots is you have to stop Brady. That's all, and it's a lot harder than it sounds.
And that defense has bend don't break, so you have to break that defense. I mean, you can bend them, but you got to make sure you actually
James Harrison. I don't know why Pittsburgh let James Harrison go, because.
It was it's a sad thing, and that's another thing.
He's an animal,
and now look at him. I mean, he's really balling out back in New England.
They just put him in a good spot.
Good system. Yeah, I mean, it's the Belichick effect. I mean, you look at all these players that aren't really anybody. Like nobody's. You know, Tom Brady was nobody going into college and into the draft.
I'm still so mad at Drew
It comes
Bledsoe.
out. Yeah, it's all Drew Bledsoe.
If his, yeah, it's all his. What did he like? He had
Yeah,
internal
he
injuries from the
yeah.
hit. You know, it's the
Yeah.
Jets' fault. This is that happened against the Jets. I
Yeah.
forget what player hit him, but it's New York Jets. This is your fault.
Yeah, it really
So-
is. It really is. And Drew Bledsoe takes credit for creating Tom Brady. And you know what? I'd rather credit Drew Bledsoe than Tom Brady for all of his success. But it was, yeah. I mean, it's just the Belichick effect. When you look at all these players all the time, they come to New England, they're amazing. They leave New England and all that. Like
it's just
Chris
how-
Hogan was not allowed with the Bills. He really wasn't.
Brandon Cooks, I think, is kind of taken a small step. I would say, like with the Saints, he was definitely the number one option there. He was good. So I don't know if he hasn't been dominant. I don't think he hasn't taken a big step down.
There have been talks about how their chemistry is still building up and they're getting better. So but with like all the weapons they have, and you know they've had a long history of dig and dunk passing game. You know, like it's not hard passes to make. They're within 5-10 yards.
gonna get
They dump
picked
it
off.
off, and the receiver takes another 5-10 yards, and they get a first down. They just create these long, just drives.
They
that
almost
just
set
can't
up
be stopped.
plays for yards after the catch. They set up to
Exactly.
throw a short pass.
They would
so-
rather, they'd rather the passer, the rack. So it's
Not rack, man.
but they it's you know Brandon Cooks has got this deep threat ability. I mean that speed he has, and
It definitely stretches the defense.
oh, he stretches the
It opens up the
defense.
short passes.
That game they
especially
had
against
against the Houston Texans when they won in the final minute by a touchdown deep down from to Brandon Cooks in the side of the end zone, and Brandon Cooks talking about how that was like the barrier to kind of start things between him and Brady and their chemistry and their relationship. And on top of all that, you always have Gronk, and
Yeah,
you know what, Malcolm Jenkins, I have faith in you to stop Gronk.
that's gonna be tough.
That's gonna be tough, but T.J. Ward did it.
The only time
And you
Gronk
had that
had
pick
a-
six against Tom Brady last time you guys played, and this defense has got a lot of. I mean, I don't care if it's just this one year that's Philly's year. Whatever it is, just I have faith in New England in the Eagles to win this game. So
I'm gonna
pick New England. Yeah.
I saw a stat that said the Patriots have never played a team in a Super Bowl that was top 5 in offense and top 5 in defense in the same season.
Really interesting.
And the Eagles are, I think, fourth in. I want to say they're fourth in both. I know they're top 5 in both.
Their offense probably took a hit once they lost Wentz.
Yeah, but they're still a top 5
Wentz,
offense
they
and
might
top 5
be-
defense.
yeah,
they're
they're
like
probably a top-
they're like the second or third defense.
Yeah, and honestly, I know the Rams had the top scoring offense this year, and man, Gurley was a monster. He
They
was
didn't
just
have
beasting all year, but
they didn't have like the playmaking. They had a good system, but
yeah,
they didn't have
well, a lot of what their
talent.
defense did too is their defense put them in. I mean, I know they're not credit for that amazing defense; they're credit for that offense they had this year. But a lot of the reason that offense was so good and so dominant was because their defense
field
put them in good
position.
positions. Yeah, with all the turnovers they had and all like the punts within their own like 10, 5, and 20-yard lines, like it was their defense set them up for great field position to make big plays. And Greg the Leg, Greg is
Zerline,
Legatron
maybe.
over here in Zerline, he's just nails field goals no matter where
Pat
you
McAfee
are.
loves him.
Yeah, Pat McAfee loves him. He's good for the brand.
good for the brand.
So yeah, I mean,
My score prediction though, I'm taking the Eagles 20-17 over the Patriots. I think.
really okay.
I think it'll be pretty low scoring throughout the game, but in the fourth quarter, like it'll probably be 10-3 going in the fourth quarter.
And you
Something
think
like
fourth
that.
quarter they
The
start
fourth
popping up
quarter
scores
defense
and
is
Eagles
probably going to
pop
get a
up.
little tired. That's when the quarterbacks are really going to shine, and the offenses. The fourth quarter is
When the offense,
is
yeah,
showing.
because defenses get tired. They get tired more, faster than the.
That's when having a good secondary really comes down
Exactly,
to.
yeah, because the best pass defense, the best pass coverage is a pass rush, and those boys, they do all the work. I mean, every down they're going at it 110%, and they get tired. So, I would not pick. I'm not going to pick against New England here. I'm going to have to pick with them as much as I don't want to.
What do you think the score will be?
That's a tough one. I think it'll be a little higher scoring. My pick would probably be 28 New England. I'm going to say 28 New England, 20. I'll say 17 Eagles. 28-17 New England.
Okay.
But it's but I would not be upset if I was an Eagle. I mean, obviously I would be upset if I'm an Eagles fan, but they've got a lot to look forward to in the future. And Carson Wentz should have been the MVP this year. That knee injury he took, didn't.
There's no time like the present though. You want to win it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Super Bowls are hard.
So,
We've seen
It's-
like
I mean, look at the Panthers. I mean, that amazing
Yeah.
season they had, like all year long. There's no chance the Broncos to, nobody had any faith in the Broncos and the aging Peyton Manning, and they came out and won easy. So,
I mean with the Seahawks looked like they were going to dominate for years, and then their team just went.
yeah, the
right down.
offensive line went down the thing.
Football's such an injury-heavy sport.
Marshawn Lynch retired, then came back to go to Oakland.
He's still mad that they didn't give him the ball in that last play.
Yeah, I would be too.
I think
I
that's
would be too. I mean, there's the 30 for 30 on Walter Payton or the '85 Bears. there's a little segment in there about how Walter Payton and in their one Super Bowl they got, Sweetness himself, the only thing that they had going for them for years, and the greatest Bears player in history, and how they never gave him the chance to get the touchdown. They gave it to William Perry, the Fridge. So at least
they won. I think Walter Payton would have rather had one than him not get a touchdown.
Yeah, as good as the defense was, I mean, the entire offense was Walter Payton and Mr. Crackhead McMahon on the other side, or whatever his name was. But anyway, I get the whole Seattle thing. I mean, then now Cam Chancellor's had that neck surgery, and Averill got hurt, and Earl Thomas has already run up to Jason Garrett.
He basically said I think Earl Thomas is going with the philosophy of he's going to go wherever he gets paid.
Yeah, well, he came up to Jason Garrett and said, "If you
come get me,
if you want, you can get me, come get me." And he's already discussions about him holding out for this offseason, and
probably will.
Yeah, I mean, he's a talented player, but he's done in Seattle, I think, and that Legion of Boom, I think, it's over with. Yeah, I mean,
it's gone boom.
But yeah, Legion of Boom has just turned to boom. So Richard Sherman's still super talented, but I mean, he had that leg injury, and now there's up and coming cornerbacks like Boyce and Ramsey on the same team, and it's I think the NFC West, as good as a division was 2 years ago. I mean, it's wide open now. I mean, the Rams are still really good. I think the Cardinals are in a really crappy situation with losing their quarterback and their head coach all in the same season, but they could certainly. They still have talent. Chandler Jones was a stud on defense for them. Patrick Peterson always has been elite. They lost Calais Campbell to the Jags, obviously, 2 seasons ago. David Johnson had that really rough wrist injury.
Drafted him first overall.
I know, it's a shame. It was a bigger hurt to, I think, the fantasy players overall.
He was very solid. He was like a good.
He was so good. I mean,
he just racked up touchdowns, 80 yards and a touchdown every week.
He was a wide receiver in high school, so he's got the great receiving ability as a halfback that not many have.
And speaking of the offseason, we already got off. Offseason started off with a boom last night with the Chiefs trading Alex Smith to the Redskins for the third-round pick and Kendall Fuller.
Kendall Fuller, yeah.
And I think the Chiefs kind of finessed Washington.
Yeah, I don't know why they would do that.
It's kind of a win-win because Washington they signed out, this had obviously been in talks for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they signed Alex Smith to an extension as soon as the trade was finalized.
Yeah, 4-year extension. I think he's going to be in Washington for 5 more years. Assuming injury and retirement trades don't happen. But
for Washington, this is good for them because they get stability.
Yeah.
Which with Kirk Cousins, they didn't know if he was going to come back.
Well, they've had him on a franchise tag. Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to keep a player on your team through the franchise tag because they probably don't want to be there.
That's more like kind of like a last-second desperation move.
It's like when we just don't want you to go. We're going to try to.
The most important position in football, quarterback. Other than like head coach and coaching staff, just on the field players. Quarterback's the most important one, by far. And they, it's just that they didn't really know where Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins didn't really want to be there that much.
I don't know where he's going to
a lot of money.
If I remember, I'm looking at Jacksonville because that's a championship team just ready for.
I've heard 3 teams. I've heard Jacksonville, Denver, and Minnesota, and they
Minnesota's
all have
got 2 good quarterbacks on their team.
I know. I don't know why he would go to Minnesota. I mean, obviously he wants money. He wants big money. So.
But Minnesota has Teddy Bridgewater too. Everybody forgets that.
They got Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Bradford, and Case Keenum, and I don't really love Sam Bradford, but it worked for a little bit, and there is still a possibility somewhere. I mean, I guess the Browns were really heavily pursuing Kirk Cousins for a while. So. No, it's not going to happen.
For them to get a good quarterback on their team, they're going to have to draft him because no quarterback ever, no good free agent would ever go play in Cleveland.
No, yeah, it's just a death zone. I mean, it's like trying to.
I'm going to be the best player on this terrible team. There's no money to be made in Cleveland outside of.
And they don't. I mean, they have an okay offensive line. They made some big offseason moves last year with the Bengals offensive lineman, Zeitler, I believe, and Joe Thomas after just tore his bicep, which was a major blow, but he's still the best left tackle in the league, I believe. So they've got some working pieces, but it just still results in a 1-0 win season every year. And Kirk Cousins, though, I was talking with a good friend of mine about this, who's a diehard Denver fan, and man, if he went to Denver, that would be a good fit. Yeah, I'm talking about Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, Denver has been, ever since Peyton Manning left, they've been saying, we just need a quarterback.
Yeah, and think about this, they got the 5th overall pick right now in the draft, and let's say Saquon Barkley makes it there. And that offensive line is still not great, but it's not awful either. It works. And
do you think they would take the pick? Do you think if the Colts traded Brissett to the Broncos and tried to get the 5th pick, do you think they would do it?
To Barkley?
No, if the Colts said, we'll give you Brissett for the 5th pick, do you think they would do it?
No.
Brissett and somebody else.
No, they wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do it.
No.
I mean, it's not a
Brissett's
quarterback
good.
heavy draft.
He could be well, I mean,
At the top,
at
it
the
is,
very,
but
very top, it's heavy. But after
a
that,
good quarterback's not going to fall to number 5.
But who have you got? You've got Sam Darnold, both the Joshes, Rosen and Allen.
Yeah.
You've got
Not big
Baker
on those.
Mayfield, and you've got Lamar Jackson. Those are kind of like the 5 big names coming out of the draft this year.
Yeah, but I mean, Baker, I think he'll be a good NFL quarterback. It's just he has to get over himself.
You kind of worry about the attitude.
He's got the
Manziel.
Yeah, he's got the Manziel thing. I'm not big on Rosen. I think the Browns will pick Darnold. He's fit to play in the NFC or the AFC East. That's his. He kind of looks like he fits the mold to play there. I think Allen could be a stud. I think he's a little bit of like he's got.
Yeah, Allen from Wyoming has looked really good. I know a lot of people really like Darnold, and this is going to sound like a biased Colts fan, but a lot of people really like Darnold simply for the fact that he looks like a Carson Wentz and Andrew Luck. And Carson Wentz and Andrew Luck, I mean, those are 2 very talented quarterbacks that most any team in the NFL would pay a lot of money to get right now.
Colts have paid a lot of money for
Yeah,
him.
Colts have paid a lot of money for him. And I would, I'd put Wentz over Luck right now just because you're getting basically another Andrew Luck, but just minus the whole shoulder.
I'd rather take a quarterback with a bad knee than a quarterback with a bad shoulder.
Exactly. So
especially throwing shoulder.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but man, I'm excited for this offseason. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard a lot of reports about the Colts with their number 3 pick, and I have felt this for a while now that I don't know if we're really going to use that third overall pick. I think we're going to take that as trade back, and we're going to try and Chris Ballard even said at the Senior Bowl, like, they're more interested in growing their own players here in Indy than picking up others in free agency. And
so why would we draft Bradley Chubb? I mean, Bradley Chubb is an obvious.
Bradley Chubb is a beast, and Jabal Sheard had a good year. I mean, his PFF grade was like a 93 overall.
Yeah, if very solid. As long as if you have 2 good pass rushers, then it's hard to double up on just one.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's why the Freeney Mathis duo was dominant.
Yeah, and they've got the way I see it is we have 2 pretty obvious free agents that we should target, and we have 2 pretty obvious draft targets we should target, and that would be
Norwell.
Drafting would be on free agency it would be Norwell from the Panthers. He's a stud this year. I think he's like the best guard this season.
Yeah.
And then you got Ziggy Ansah from the Lions, and he's good. He's lengthy, and especially if we're switching to a 4-3.
Because we still have Hankins, and he was.
Hankins was good. Hankins was solid, and you got Sheard on the other side, and
if we had Chubb,
they got Alan Wood from the Titans, too, and I would be okay with that defensive line. It's nothing crazy. It's no Jacksonville, with the
as long as they get a constant or consistent pass rush.
If you can get a consistent pass rush on the
helps
edge,
out the secondary.
Yeah, and here's the thing: I've heard a lot about Bradley Chubb and about his just attitude and his leadership abilities, and that's what our defense really needs. And you got Malik Hooker in the secondary; he's good. Rashawn Melvin had a breakout year, and and you know what? I have faith in Hooker to stay healthy. I mean, he hasn't really had a deep injury history. I mean, not that I know.
No, but I mean, at Ohio State, he would have played sooner, but he had to deal with injuries to start playing.
Yeah,
he had his shoulder bug throughout his year at Ohio State.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm happy that the injury was a contact injury rather than a non-contact injury. Yeah. I think non-contact ones are more scary, and they're just more. I don't know. They're more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But so I mean, they've got a few talented people back in secondary. Position I really worry about is the linebacker. Who do we have? Yeah. Nobody. I mean,
is Cole Jackson?
No. He's gone. He's been gone. Yeah, I mean, with the whole punch the pizza guy in the face incident.
Cole was good too.
Yeah, he was good. He was good in the run game. His coverage wasn't great, but he racked up tackles every year. Him and Navarro Bowman would be for the 2 years in a row. Him and Navarro Bowman were both top in tackles. So Bobby Wagner is exploding, and Luke Kuechly's still a dog. So those 2 are probably the best middle linebackers in the league right now. Reuben Foster's had a great year as a rookie. Great pick by the 49ers.
Alabama linebackers, man. Alabama defensive players, is not really. They're not as strong with the secondary, but Alabama linemen and linebackers.
Yeah, they got Jonathan Allen. They got Jonathan Allen last year for the Redskins, and Reuben Foster had the whole scary injury incident, and so there was talk about if he's going to go to play, and so then the Saints were going to pick him up at 32, and then Reuben Foster hung up on the Saints. Answered a phone call from the 49ers who picked him 31 last year in the draft. And that was a steal. I mean, there was talks about him going top 10, and then the whole news got released, and 49ers had 2 first-round picks, and they got Solomon Thomas, defensive end, who's kind of disappointed, I think. They got, 3rd overall, I believe, so he's kind of disappointed, but they got Reuben Foster, and he's been amazing. So they cut Navarro Bowman because they got the one guy they need, in the middle. So cut Bowman, and now they've got Reuben Foster up there, and so, yeah, it's looking like a good offseason. I'm excited for it.
All right, we're going to shift gears here to a little bit of NBA talk because NBA is pretty. as soon as the Super Bowl's over, it's going to be all NBA talk.
Yeah,
so
and we've got a week now until this Sunday.
And the league looks.
Sunday, so after that, it's all.
There's a lot of promising teams in the NBA right now. Obviously the Warriors. They're obviously the championship favorite because they have 4 of the top 15 best players in the league.
Yeah, they're amazing. Obviously, like they have been the past 4 years now.
The Rockets look amazing. James Harden dropped 60 points in a
first ever triple double. That was crazy. That
he's
was a wild
he's a beast. He's very good.
I think right now he's the MVP.
Definitely.
Yeah. So.
The Cavs the Celtics have been solid.
Yeah, Celtics.
I don't think anybody expects them. They're a great defensive team. I don't think anybody expects them to be able to beat. I think they could take the Cavs to 6 or 7 games. So I think they could. There's a chance they'll go to the finals, but I don't see them beating the Warriors 4 times in 2 weeks.
Yeah, the Warriors are just too good.
Or the Rockets, honestly. I don't see them beating the Rockets either.
I could see them beating the Rockets. I think
it would be a more even series, but I think
it'd be a more even
if they play
series.
the Warriors, it'd probably be.
I think if either team plays the Warriors, it's not going to be a sweep. They're not going to get swept, but I'm thinking maybe
it's hard to win in Boston during the finals.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like if the Warriors, whoever the Warriors play this postseason, the best they're getting is 2 wins, maybe.
The Rockets could probably steal 2 games.
Yeah, and it's happening with the Cavs right now. Still sucks.
Cavs have no defense, and then Kevin Love just went out. I don't know if that's a loss.
Kevin Love.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah,
he said he was sick, and he left the game against the Thunder. Well, they gave up 150 points.
It's horrible. They got destroyed.
You got to think why did he say it? Why would he stay? He had a chance to leave, right? He was a free agent.
Yeah,
and they re-signed him. I don't know why he would stay in Cleveland.
I remember when they first signed him there, and they were they got LeBron back, and they got him, and they had Kyrie at the time, and it was kind of oh wow, they got a new big 3, good for them. And Kevin Love never really. I feel like
Kevin Love's been a solid stretch forward for them. He rebounds, but
he's been a good.
He's not good. He's not a good defensive.
He's not been the big 3 that they need, and now they got Isaiah Thomas because Kyrie went out.
He can't play defense either. Isaiah Thomas is one of the worst defensive players in the league.
They just can't do it, and Isaiah Thomas, man, he doesn't even look happy. You just watch him on the sideline and on the court, at those games. He just looks. He's talked so long after the trade about how much he just missed Boston and how it's his.
He was so happy.
He was so happy in Boston.
He was so
loved
happy.
His life, and then.
But you can't blame Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge said, "You want to give me? You guys are trading Kyrie," and he's like, "Yeah, we'll take him."
Yeah,
what are you talking
about? Business, nonetheless.
Isaiah Thomas is coming off a bad hip injury. It was a.
And who are you taking overall as a player? Kyrie or Thomas?
Kyrie.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. It's a.
Kyrie has the ability to play better defense if he puts effort into it and if he's in a good system. The Celtics have been very good defensively, and I think it's kind of shown. First of all, why Isaiah Thomas misses Boston so much because the team it's a much closer team. They're more tight knit.
Yeah.
Even though they have all new players this season.
Look at the stuff with Kevin Love. The players have a heated meeting.
Players only meeting. They just started yelling at each other.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably just spent the entire time just roasting Kevin Love over.
I'm sure LeBron just sits in a big chair at the head of the table and everybody else yells at each other.
Yeah,
he has a staff or something. He slams down and says, "Shut up."
Yeah, it's just NBA. NBA is not what I expected it to be this year. I expected to be another Cavs Warriors finals and Warriors walk away with a win, but Cavs are falling apart. Warriors are staying on top, and the Rockets and Celtics are both showing up big time.
I think it's a 4-team race at this point, but I think if the Celtics had Gordon Hayward, we'd be having way different conversation.
But
because he's a good number 2 scoring option.
Yeah, and I think
Jason Tatum is going to be.
Jason Tatum's been phenomenal. Did you see the moves he put on last night where he sent that poor person to the floor and then
he was backing him down too. It wasn't even a face.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't nothing dirty. He just backed him down and then just put him on the floor and then put up a few points.
The thing with that team. Next year, the year after that, they're going to be good because it's going to be Kyrie at the point, Jaylen Brown at the 2, and then probably
Brad Stevens. What a phenomenal
Hayward,
too.
and then Tatum, and then Horford. Horford, he's iffy. He's not a great. He's a good facilitator, but he's not a great rebounder.
Yeah.
He's not a great rebounder.
But yeah, and then they also got the coaching staff to do it. They got Brad Stevens up there.
I think Brad Stevens.
I think he's the best coach in the NBA right now. He's phenomenal.
He turned a group of young players and Kyrie Irving who. They probably spent the whole offseason. A bunch of players have never played together before. They're all young, and then they lose their second best player in the first quarter of the season, and he turned them into the best defensive team in the league with the best record in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it was
incredible. I don't know how many other coaches could do that. Probably Popovich, and that's it.
Yeah, he's phenomenal, and now there's talks about Kawhi, leaving the Spurs too.
Yeah, that's a whole
other issue to deal with. That sucks. But he's had some serious injury issues in recent history. So,
but in the finals right now, without like as the Cavs are right now, I'm probably going to take the Warriors and the Celtics, and I'm going to say the Warriors win like in
Game
five,
6?
5 games.
Five
Probably
games?
in 5 games.
Okay, I would say Warriors win in 6 over the Celtics.
Actually, I'm going to go with 6 because Celtics have had like in past seasons they've actually like had a winning record against the Warriors.
I think they get the
Stevens
series.
is the coach.
I think Warriors win first 2, lose the next one 2-1. I think Warriors win the next one 3-1. Celtics win the next one, then Warriors finish it off.
Yeah.
But I mean, they still have, like you said, a bright future. I mean, obviously they've been missing Gordon Hayward the entire season. That was one of their big pickups. So, but yeah, it's been a great season for the NBA so far. I mean, I'm not complaining about it.
Yeah, it's been
And Super Bowl Sunday's right around the corner, our favorite holiday. So,
So
Good
lots
time
to
for
talk
sports.
about when we come back.
yep.
So
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Strictly Sports.
we still only have 4 followers.
Got it right here. And
5
yeah.
followers, I think.
Yeah,
But,
5 followers. We're
hit us
live right now
back.
on Twitter. Actually, you might be watching us from there. So,
Yeah, we want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we'll be back next week to talk about the Super Bowl and probably more NBA.
Yeah.
So have a good one.